This is me looking at the unemployment numbers, which are now 6 million. This is me watching the news. I don't know why I watch the news.
If that's the case, spread it to other people.
And this is me freaking out. That's about as much as I freak out. I'm a pretty calm guy, but this is rough. There's no way around it. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Clayton here. There's no way to sugarcoat this. 6 million people unemployed in the United States. These numbers are not good. I'll get to that in a second. But first, I wanted to make this video because I know it's easy to be scared right now, to be overwhelmed by the news. Heck, I used to anchor the news on the #1 morning show in the world, the #1 cable morning show in the world. I saw a lot of news. I saw a lot of scary news. I decided to retire from that job because I was much happier running my businesses and teaching you out there how to build wealth, better than talking about other people's business, which is what the news business is. I even once interviewed a guy that looked like a vampire. Patrick joins us this morning from Philadelphia. Hey, Patrick.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. So because I worked in the news business, I have a lot of sources. So my phone constantly buzzes with sources who are plugged in, sending me info that would make your head explode and make you scared. It's hard to avoid it. Heck, I've got my RSS feed set up with my business news, and I'm constantly refreshing my feed to see the latest headlines. It's hard to stay calm right now. I get it. I run through a whole range of emotions throughout the day. Like in the morning, I wake up, I check my phone, look at the news, and I just want to crawl back into bed, because why even get up? My kids are having a tough time too. My son reading the news on my phone. We're all scared. I do think about it a lot, like, oh crap, what's going to happen if my tenants can't pay their rent? What happens if people stop buying houses? What happens if I have to lay people off? I run through all of these emotions on a regular basis. I have some friends who are calm.
And I've always been told that you cannot control any exterior event. You can only control how you respond to that event.
And I have friends who are freaking out. They all run the spectrum. I also wanted to make a level-headed video here because I see many of you leave comments, and I read every one of your comments, by the way, and you see that I respond to just about every comment. Anyway, you guys say that I can lay things out in such a clear and simple way without being dramatic, like some other news sources out there.
I had a bit of a temper. I would say that I would say that I was volatile, maybe mercurial, judgmental.
So thank you for that compliment. I'm trying not to be dramatic. So here's what we're going to do tonight in this video. I'm going to recap how we got here, and then I'm going to look at the history of these other major unemployment periods in American history. And then finally, I want to offer some strategies on what you can do right now if, God forbid, you are unemployed, and also some strategies for investing during this rocky period. So just a few hours ago, we received the unemployment numbers, folks. They were stunning. New unemployment claims doubled to 6.6 million from last week's record-setting 3.3 million. It's a new record. Now, just to put that in perspective, prior to the coronavirus pandemic, the record number of initial claims filed in a single week was 695,000. That was it. That happened in October of 1982.
If you think Preparation H is best for hemorrhoid pain, think twice. Think Tronolane, the remarkable two-step treatment for immediate pain relief.
Today's 6.6 million is 10 times that amount. So just wrap your head around that for a minute. That means that taken together, more than 1 in 20 American workers have been forced into the unemployment line in the last 2 weeks alone. And even that is an underestimate right now, as it accounts for only those people who have filed for benefits and had their claims actually processed. Did you hear me? Did you hear that part of it? That means that this number is probably much lower than it actually is. This is eye-watering. And we're still only at the beginning of the layoffs that have been spurred by the lockdowns across the country. Unemployment could skyrocket in coming months to more than 10%. Now, let me know in the comments section if you've been affected by layoffs yet, or if you know anyone who has. I feel like everyone knows somebody who's been affected by this, but hit me up in the comments. So let's look at some history here. During the Great Depression, the greatest of all depressions, I guess? The Great Depression had devastating effects in countries both rich and poor. Personal income, tax revenue, profits, and prices dropped, while trade internationally plunged by more than 50%. Unemployment in the United States rose to 25%, and in some countries it rose as high as 33%. And it took 10 years to finally recover. 12 million people lost their jobs. Then let's fast forward to the next big boy, the Great Recession in 2008. 8.7 million people lost their jobs after the collapse of Lehman Brothers and the big banks. The housing market collapsed because banks allowed people to get mortgages they couldn't afford. Many people were getting these mortgages without jobs at all. We didn't start adding jobs again until about 2011, so that was about 3 or 4 years of pain and suffering. Now today, in 2 weeks, we've lost over 6 million jobs, and we won't have accurate numbers until later on Friday and into next week. And then next week, folks, is not going to be any better. So we're on pace right now to eclipse the Great Depression at this point. Because listen, Florida and Georgia haven't even started keeping people home yet. That actually starts on April 3rd. So many more companies are going to be having to deal with layoffs in those states and others. So how did we get here? Well, the high unemployment of the Great Depression and the Great Recession reflected the months of job losses, right? This time around, the American job market was, as recently as the second week of March, totally fine. And then it began to unravel at a shocking pace. Huge swaths of the retail, food service, hospitality, transportation industries shut down completely. Side note, we need to come up with some new names here because Great Depression, Great Recession, what are we going to call this one if great is already taken? Awesome Depression? The awesome collapse? I don't know. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section. All right, side note over. So let's talk about the market now, these days. We're hearing a lot of pundits out there pontificating about which way the markets will go. But let me suggest something that not really a lot of people are talking about, if any. What if stocks trade right now more or less flat for the next while? And I know it sounds like a contrarian idea, but I bet the markets will be kind of steady in the coming days or the coming weeks. Why? Well, I know what you're thinking. Well, how on earth could that possibly happen? Stocks just stay steady while America is on lockdown and 6 million people are losing their jobs. How does that happen? Well, it's important to remember why markets go up or down in the first place. They always go down when there's more uncertainty, because there's nothing markets hate more than uncertainty. Remember what was happening during the presidential impeachment process of President Trump? It was a roller coaster. Because Wall Street doesn't like the idea of a president of the strongest country in the world possibly being thrown out of office. It was the uncertainty, right? And when the impeachment ended, markets rebounded. So on the other hand, when markets get bad news they've already expected, they can go either up or down. They usually don't fall very far when they do drop, because you can see this in every bear market in US history. The market finds its bottom before the bad news really starts rolling in. And then it settles into like a new price channel as the news gets worse. So what I'm saying is that the market already knew that companies were going to lay people off. We saw it coming. A lot of people saw it coming. Let's take the 2008 financial crisis. Stocks started to fall in late 2007. And then we were down by 40% by the end of 2008, when unemployment had risen to 58%. So stocks always crash before unemployment peaks. Remember that. And so look at this. Stocks actually rose 15% at the start of 2009. Even though unemployment still had yet to climb another 38 whopping percent. What I'm worried about, though, is people become wildly erratic and they start doing something stupid in these moments, especially at a time where unemployment goes up, profits go down, and jobs become hard to come by. It's going to test a heck of a lot of people. You know, you can already sense this sort of palpable tension, right? So what can you do now? How should you invest? Well, one, if you lost your job, my heart goes out to you. But now you have an opportunity to start a business with very little money. Build something you're passionate about. Now, I recently put together a whole video on 7 businesses that you can start right now with virtually no money. So grab some inspiration from that video and try something new. We'll link it up here and down there. Now, if you're a small business with fewer than 500 employees, you can apply right now for an SBA small business loan. We have a link to their website in the description. You can get some fast money, and if you use that money to keep paying your employees, they will forgive that part of the loan. They will forgive that loan. That's part of the stimulus bill. So if you're thinking you're going to have to lay people off, use it, people. Use it. As for investing, I will continue to invest in the things that people will always need, and that's housing. We are continuing right now to build at my company. We have an unbelievable demand for affordable housing in this country. We've had to hire 3 additional people in our office over the past 3 weeks. So real estate is not going anywhere. especially in more recession-resistant markets where we're building. Yes, some tenants will lose their jobs, yes, and we will work with them to make sure they're able to make it through. We all have to pull together right now, folks. I'm going to continue to invest in companies also that aren't going anywhere, like healthcare industry and energy sectors. And you can get a few free stocks right now just for signing up for Webull. The link is below. It's free money. Even if you never do anything else with the account, you just sign up, get free stocks. The link is below. We could all use some free money right about now, so grab that. So that's it. Things are going to get worse before they get better, but they will get better. They always do. So please subscribe here to the channel if I brought you any value. Stay safe, everyone, and be good to each other out there. I'll see you in the next video.